It is well known that the history of Samarkand goes as far back as millennia. A favorable climate, abundance of water sources, rich flora and fauna have resulted in the settlement on this territory in ancient times. Since ancient times, Samarkand has been the center of spiritual, economic, cultural, and scientific exchange between the nations living in the area from East Asia to North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. The history of Samarkand, like any other ancient city, is multifaceted. The city has experienced numerous ups and downs. Today, Samarkand is an internationally recognized tourist destination. The practically rebuilt Samarkand International Airport has been operating in open skies mode since October last year. Foreign air carriers can now fly to Samarkand regardless of whether or not there is an intergovernmental agreement on air traffic. At the initiative of the President of Uzbekistan, the Great Silk Road International Tourist Center has been established in Samarkand. This multifunctional center includes 8 modern hotels, 11 villas, a congress hall, the internal city complex, an amphitheater, and many other amenities. It is capable of accommodating 2 million tourists a year. Samarkand is a city of beautiful sights. They are literally on every step. They are Registan, Samarkand's most famous square, and the city's visiting card. The majestic mausoleum of Amir Timur, the unique medieval necropolis of Shahizinda, decorated in blue and turquoise colors. Ulugh Observatory, which is the remains of an observatory dated 1420. The site of Afrasiab, first mentioned in written sources of the 8th century BC. The mausoleum of Hoja Danyar. The shrine is equally sacred and blessed for people of 3 religions: Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. The tomb of Hoja Danyar, as Muslims call him, or the biblical prophet Daniel, as Christians call him Daniel, one of the 4 great Jewish prophets, is located near the river Siab between the hills of Afrasiab. But without its centuries-long history, Samarkand has been a place where cultures and traditions of different peoples have peacefully and harmoniously coexisted. Bukharian Jews are an integral part of the history, economy, and culture of Samarkand. Since second half of 19th century, realizing Samarkand's great potential in trade with Russia, Bukharian Jewish merchants and craftsmen moved here. This encouraged the economic growth of Samarkand. In 1841, Samarkand had up to 500 Jews living separately in different quarters of the old town. In March 1843, the Jewish community bought a 3-hectare territory near Registan and established a Jewish quarter, Mahallai Yahudiyan. Moshe Qalantar, the first official head of the Samarkand Jewish community, played a significant role in establishment of the Jewish quarter in Samarkand. This man was a faithful keeper of Jewish traditions and a real diplomat who managed to be a protector and a leader of his people in a difficult period in the history of Samarkand, and managed to peacefully resolve the issues of his diaspora. In 1878, Moshe Qalantar managed to solve another problem. There was no separate Jewish cemetery in Samarkand, and he personally headed and organized the construction of the cemetery. End of the 19th century and the first quarter of 20th century is known as the golden age of Bukharian Jews in Samarkand. Bukharian Jews, merchants, owned real estate and many cities of Central Asia. These were private factories, plants, workshops, large plots of land, shops, hotels, trading houses, and so on. Famous merchants of Samarkand include families of Kalantarovs, Abramovs, Mullakandovs, Levivs, Fuzailovs, Fazilovs, Konstantinovs, Ilyasovs, Ilyayevs, Aminovs, Pinchasovs, and others. In 1894, Jews owned 47 houses in the center of Samarkand and the so-called Russian part. Some houses have survived to this day. Many of them are listed as architectural monuments and are protected by the state. One of them is an ancient two-story house made of burnt brick in the shady courtyard of the Samarkand Local History Museum, which was built on the money of Abraham Kalantarov, a merchant of the First Gold and one of the wealthiest men of his time. In recent years, Samarkand has emerged as one of the major centers of culture, education, and political dialogue, attracting an interesting stream of visiting politicians, scholars, businessmen, and tourists. Samarkand has a well-developed hotel infrastructure with over 500 successfully functioning hotels and family guest houses for the comfort of stay in Samarkand, along with the halal restaurants. There are also kosher restaurants. It is important to emphasize that every visitor to Samarkand can enjoy centuries-old cultural heritage, culture, crafts, and traditions, folklore of this cosmopolitan city at the crossroads of world civilizations.